Good afternoon, students. Kindly let me know I am audible or not. Please drop a message in the chat box. I'm audible, Arzu. Drop a message in the chat box. Fine, I'm audible. Thank you so much. So today we are going to proceed with Unit 2. And in the Unit 2, we are having object-oriented features of C++. And in Unit 2, we will be covering the sections like classes and objects, data hiding, encapsulation, abstraction, data members, member function, accessing the class members, the definition of empty class, local class, global class, scope, resolution operator, its use, static member function, etc. So without wasting much of the time, we are going to start with the topic. So I will begin with the basic definition of object-oriented programming. Till the date, the subject which you have studied in the previous section was programming in C, and that C language was basically a procedural language. By the term procedural, we exactly means when we have a problem, we have to solve the problem by breaking the problem into the smaller part. Each part is known as procedure or function. तो सी लैंग्वेज में हमारे पास प्रॉब्लम को सॉल्व करने का जो मेथड था दैट वाज यूजिंग द प्रोसीजर्स. इसी वजह से उसको मॉड्यूलर प्रोग्रामिंग लैंग्वेज भी कहा जाता है. जो हमारी मॉड्यूलर प्रोग्रामिंग लैंग्वेज है उसमें हम मॉड्यूल्स के थ्रू या फंक्शंस के थ्रू प्रॉब्लम को सॉल्व करते हैं. फंक्शन की डेफिनेशन मैंने आपको कल के लेक्चर में दी थी दैट वी डिफाइन अ फंक्शन एज अ सेल्फ कंटेन्ड ब्लॉक ऑफ कोड विच इज यूज्ड टू परफॉर्म अ स्पेसिफिक टास्क. तो सी लैंग्वेज में प्रॉब्लम को फंक्शंस के थ्रू सॉल्व किया जाता था. सी प्लस प्लस में फंक्शंस को सी प्लस प्लस में प्रॉब्लम को फंक्शंस के थ्रू सॉल्व करने की जगह ऑब्जेक्ट अप्रोच पे सॉल्व किया जाता है. इसी वजह से इसको ऑब्जेक्ट ओरिएंटेड प्रोग्रामिंग कहा जाता है. तो वी विल लर्न बेसिकली व्हाट द ऑब्जेक्ट इज. तो अगर हम ऑब्जेक्ट की बात करते हैं तो प्रोग्रामिंग में ऑब्जेक्ट एक स्पेसिफिक एंटिटी होता है या ऑब्जेक्ट एक वेरिएबल होता है जिसका डेटा टाइप क्लास है. जैसे आपने पढ़ा है इंटीजर एक्स में एक्स एक वेरिएबल है जिसका डेटा टाइप इंटीजर है. फ्लोट वाई में वाई एक वेरिएबल का नेम है जिसका डेटा टाइप फ्लोट है. बिल्कुल वैसे ही अगर मैं बोलता हूँ बैंक एसबीआई, तो एसबीआई एक ऑब्जेक्ट है या एक वेरिएबल है जिसका डेटा टाइप बैंक है और बैंक बेसिकली एक क्लास का नेम है. सो वी डिफाइन object as a specific type and we define class as a collection of similar type of objects which are having common attributes and behavior. By the term attributes we means data, and by the terms behavior we mean something like functions. So I'm going to share my screen to explain few of the concepts, that what are the classes, what is object, how we are going to create them. Just let me know if my screen becomes visible to you. Is my screen visible? Fine, screen is visible. So this is a C++ source code window. Under the C++ compiler, I'm going to write some of the code section and I'm going to explain you the concepts as well. So we will begin by writing the header file, that is inclusion of the header file, that I'll write the hash include and go with iostream.h. So if I'm going to write this header file inclusion, this will help the compiler to include the contents which are freely available inside this header file. After that, I will write hash include console input output.h. Then simply I am writing void main. Now in this void main, to clear the previous data, we are having output available on the console, we are having clear screen function. To hold the screen, we are having getCH function. Just to display a simple message, we have this cout object and insertion operator. Whatsoever you are going to write using this cout object and insertion operator will be displayed on screen. I am writing message here. So I will just compile it by pressing button Alt plus F9, and the screen is showing that there are no warning and no errors at all. So I'll hit the enter key, and now I will run the code by pressing Control F9. So when I will run this, I will get message as output. I will again hit the enter key to come back to the source code window from the output screen. So this is very simple program of C++. In this program, the disadvantage is that we haven't used any of the function based approach yet. So I am going to make use of function here. So what I am going to make, I am going to make a function with the name void show, and in this function void show, I will write the task of displaying the message. So I am just taking this task from here, and I'm going to put this inside the body of the function show. So this message is appeared here, and now I will make a call to show. Now what will happen? Let's see. Main will run, clear screen will clear the previous output. From this call to show, the control will go to show function, and the message will be printed using cout, and control will return back to main, and using getCH, the screen will be halted for one keystroke and will get the output message on the output window. So this was the function based approach. Is it clear? Till the time we have used this function based approach, now here we are using the modular approach. Main is not doing all the tasks. We are dividing the problem of main into the parts. Clear screen, show, getCH, these are the subparts, or you can say the functions which are doing their own responsibility or fulfilling their own responsibility. Now I'm going to create a class. Now what is class? Class is a collection of data member and member function. So let's suppose the name of the class is demo. Inside this class demo, I'm having a function void show. I will indent this function to write. And yes, this function is by default having the visibility private. So I will make it public using the keyword public, because all the data of the class, all the functions of the class by default, they are private. They are not accessible to outside world. If I will not write this public keyword, the call to this function inside the main will generate error if I am not writing this function this keyword public here. So public should be mandated here. It is mandatory to be written or to be included inside demo, so that we can make a call to it. Now show will be called by the object of the class, and what we have to do in order to create object, we will write the name of the class. Similar to that, we write integer x. In the same way, we will write demo d. Now here demo is the name of the class, and this d is the name of object, and using this object with dot operator, we are going to make a call to this show function. So let's see what happens when this program will be traced. Main will run, clear screen will clear the previous output, the object will be created from the class demo, and the object's name is d, and this d using dot operator will make a call to function show. We will go to the function show, and inside this function show, we are having message to be displayed. This message will be displayed on output, and it will return back to getCH in the main, and the output will be displayed. So the output of this code will be message. But in this case, instead of using a simple function, we have made use of a class, and we have defined the function inside the class. So I'm coming back to the screen to discuss few of the concepts. Basically, when we are talking about class, we define a class as a collection of data member and member function. When we were discussing the code, this code basically contains a class with member function only. We call this show as a member function. This show is the member function of the class. A class may also contain data as the requirement of the user. So let's suppose we are having data like integer data, and this data is having a value let's suppose 100 inside the show function, and this value gets displayed using cout. So we are also displaying the value of data. So now this class is having two things. One is data, other is function. The data is called data member. The function is called member function. So the functionality in the main will remain same. What will happen? Let's see. When we will compile it, the control inside the main will go to clear screen. From clear screen, after the clear screen, the object of class demo D will be created using D. Show will be called D.show. This line will call to show function. Under the show, we are having the definition of data to 100, and message will be displayed along with the value of data, that is called 100. Then we will come back to main, and using this getch will get message 100. Message is the message that we have written previously, and 100 is the value of data being displayed. So now we are having a class with the name demo, and this class is having data as well as function. So what is class? We define a class as a collection of data member and member function. We define object like D here. We define object as a variable of type class, and generally if we are having multiple objects like D1, D2, D3, these kind of object, all these objects occupy different memory space. D1 will take different memory, D2 will take different memory, D3 will take different memory. All the objects will take different memory. So D1, D2, D3 are objects belonging to a common class demo, and D1 will be having its own data, its own show. D2 will be having its own data, its own show, and D3 will be having its own data and its own show. It means D1, D2, D3, they will occupy memory at different places in the memory system. We have defined the body of show inside the demo. What we can do, we can define the body of this show function. That is, what is the body? This is the body of this show function outside the class as well. We can define a member function inside class, we can define a member function outside class. So when we are going to define the body outside class, first of all, what we have to do, we have to put a semicolon after the declaration of the function, and then we have to immediately close the class. So class, I have finished the class here. So the class begins here and class ends here. I have closed the class, and in the class I have written two things only. One thing is integer data, other thing is void show, but I have not written the functionality of void show inside the class. So what we can do, we can define the member function outside the class as well, and the procedure for the same is you have to write return type of the function. Now what is the return type of the function? Return type of the function is void in this case. So we will first write void here, that is called return type of the function. After writing this void, we will write the name of the class inside which the function is there. So name of the class is demo. Then we will put scope resolution operator because we are linking this function to class. Now we will write name of the function. Name of the function is show. So in this way, we can define the body of the function outside the class. So let's compile this code again. It is having one error, undefined symbol D. Yes, I have renamed the object D1, so I have to keep it D only. So let's compile this code. Yes, it will go to main, and from clear screen will get the previous output get cleared. The object demos, object D will be created. Using D, we will make a call to show by using dot operator D.show. It will call to the member function's body defined outside the class. So data will be initialized to 100, and message will be displayed along with the value of data, and control will return back to getch in the main, and the output will be message 100. So in this way the code will run. What is the basic difference between the previous program and this program is, in the previous code we were having the definition of the function show inside the class, but in this case we are having the definition of this function show, member function show, outside the class. So in this way we can define a member function outside the class. So these were the basic concepts in which we have to cover the topics like accessing class member. There is a topic called accessing class member. So you can access class member. That member may be data, that member may be function, by creating the object of the class and putting a dot operator after the name of the object. So in this way, as you have made and as you have made access to this show, in the same way you can make access to data also. Let's make a little change in code. Cout d dot data. See what I have done. I have accessed data directly inside the main using d. So let's run this code. I will compile it and now I will run it. The output will be message 100 100. The first 100 is with the message and the second 100 is due to this line d dot data. So as this d object has initialized the value of data to 100, so when we are directly accessing d dot data inside main, this d dot data will also display the value 100. So what we have done till the time, we have created a class. We have learned how to create a class, how to create the object of the class, how to keep data inside the class, how to keep function inside the class, how to access data using function, how to access data and function inside main using the object of the class. These topics we have covered till the time. Now I am going to explain the topic of the scope resolution operator as well. You have already seen one use of scope resolution operator here, that using the scope resolution operator we can provide external linkage. We can link a function to the class whose body is defined outside the class. There is another use of scope resolution operator. Let me explain the same. In the alternative way, what we can do, we can make use of scope resolution operator to resolve the scope of global and local variable. So I will explain it by taking another example. I have taken a global variable with the name integer data and the value of data is 123 outside, and inside main I have again taken integer data and now the value of data is, let's suppose, 456, and we are going to make use of cout and we are going to print data directly. We will compile this code and we will run this code. Let's see what happens. What will be the outcome? Global value of data is 123. Just remember, I am putting comment here that it is global value, and this data 456, this is called local value. So here we have initialized local value. So let's run this code and see what happens. When we are executing this, we are getting 456 like output. So 456 means we are getting the local value on as output, because local value is ruling inside a specific block. So in order to get access to the global value, we have to make use of SRO here, that is called scope resolution operator. When you will put scope resolution operator before this data, that is called double colon, now the global value will be accessed. So when we are running this, we are getting the output like 123. So in this way, we are getting the global value 123 on the screen. So to get access to the global value, we have to put scope resolution operator, and to get access to the local value, we can directly print the data. This is another use of scope resolution operator as per your syllabus. The next important topic that is having more chances to be there in the final exam is static data member and static member function. I have already posted a video inside my channel. I hope you all have viewed that video. Here also I am going to cover the same topic, that what the global data member is, what the static data member is, and what the static member function is, and how they will be used. So we will demonstrate it by taking example. Suppose I have taken a class with the name bank, and in this class bank I am having two data in the public area. The first data is integer balance and the second data is integer rate of interest, that is called ROI. So now inside the main we are having two persons, let's suppose Ram and Sumit, having account in the bank. Ram says that my balance is equal to 1000 rupees, and Sumit says that my balance is about rupees 2000. These are the two values that Ram and Sumit have in their balance. Now as they both are having their saving bank account, Ram says that rate of interest on my saving bank account is 4%. Similar to that, Sumit also says that the value of rate of interest on my account is also 4%. Now what will happen? This balance and rate of interest will take two different memories for Ram and two different memories for Sumit. Integer take 2 bytes of memory, so total 4 bytes of memory for Ram, total 4 bytes of memory for Sumit. And something which is logically incorrect, because we can see that both Ram as well as Sumit, they both are having same value of rate of interest, because the value of rate of interest is common to different persons. So this is somewhat wastage of memory. So what we can do, instead of initializing individually, we can make this rate of interest static. What is static? Static means something shareable between the objects, which is shared between objects, shared among objects. So if Ram is initializing rate of interest to 4, Sumit will automatically have the same value of rate of interest. How? Let's see. One more thing, the static data member are shared among object, and we must define their value outside the class before the main, and the method is same as we defined the function outside the class. First of all, we have to write the data type of static data member, that is called integer, then the class to which it belongs to, that is called bank. Then we are having ROI, that is called rate of interest, that is a variable, and then the default value that we want to assign it, that is something like 4. So now there is no need for Ram to write this value rate of interest to 4. It will be, you can say, shareably be accessible to both objects or all the objects of the class bank. In this case, we are having two objects, Ram and Sumit. What I am going to write, I am going to display Ram's data first. So I am writing Ram's data. So I am displaying the Ram's data with the cascaded insertion operator. First I will display Ram's balance by writing ram.bal. Then I will display Ram's rate of interest. So I'm writing rate of interest is equal to Ram's rate of interest. This same statement I will use with Sumit. So here I have written Sumit data, Sumit balance, and Sumit rate of interest. So let's compile this code. We have compiled it. There are no warning, no errors. We will run this code. See, Ram's data is 100, rate of interest is 4, Sumit's data is 2000, Sumit's balance is 2000, and rate of interest is again 4. We will use new line operator here, or you can also make use of endl. Let's run this code again. So you can easily view that Sumit's value of balance is 1000 with rate of interest 4, and Ram's value is 1000 with rate of interest equal to 4, and Sumit's balance value is 2000 with rate of interest equal to 4. We have used this shared value for both objects Ram and Sumit. Now, how we will know that they are sharing this value? Let's make the updation. Ram says that this rate of interest for Ram is now 5%. Instead of 4, Ram is saying that it is now 5%. First Ram has displayed it, then Ram said that let's display it prior, so that the changes will be reflected back in both the statements. So Ram says my rate of interest is 5, and then Ram's balance will be displayed, then Ram's rate of interest will be displayed. Then we go for Sumit's data, Sumit's balance and Sumit's rate of interest will be displayed. So let's run this code and see what happens. In this case, you see that when the Ram updated the rate of interest to 5, Sumit automatically got the updated value of rate of interest to 5. They both are having different value of balance, but they are having the shared value of rate of interest. Why shared value? Because rate of interest is a static data member. So what is static data member? Which gets shared between the object, and this sharing you can easily capture here, that Ram has updated the value to 5, then it is updated for Ram, and also it is also updated for Sumit as well. So this is something that we call static data member. As we have learned about static data member, similar to that, we have static member function as well. A static member function generally works with the static data member. It is used to initialize the static data member, to display the static data member. We can do any of the tasks using static member function, but I am not collaborating both the programs here. I am putting a separate program. I am writing a separate program for static member function. So let's suppose I have a member function with the name static void show, and this member function simply displays a message static member function called. I have written this simple statement static member function called. There is no use of initialization of data member outside the class, and I'm removing the unnecessary code from main also. Now we have this function. So previously we have learned that in order to access the data member and member function of a class, there is a requirement of creating object of the class. That concept is also known as message passing. So we create the object of the class like bank ram, and using ram we make a call to show. This will be something, the calling procedure will be something different in the case of the static data member, static member function. What we will do, we will make call to this show. Instead of creating object, we will make call to this show by directly writing the name of class with SRO, another use of scope resolution operator. We are making call to this show. So let's see what happens. We are having this main function, clear screen clears the previous output. Using this class and SRO, scope resolution operator, the call to this show will be made. This is static member function which is shared and is accessible directly by the class name SRO operator and not by the object of the class with dot operator. So this message will be displayed and control will return back to main, will get the output like static member function called. So this was a way in which we can make a call to static member function. There is no need to create the object of the class. We directly call the static member function by the name of the class. So till the time, the topics which we have covered includes what the class is, what are the objects of the class, how to access the data member and member function of the class. I have also discussed the concept of defining member function inside and outside the class. We have covered the scope resolution operator and its use, and we have also covered the topic of static data member and static member function. The classes may be global and the classes may be local as well. So we are going to cover the concept of local and global classes also. Just see the code. The class which is existing here, this function, let's suppose the function is void show only, and now we will make call to this show. As it is not static, we will call to this show by the object of this bank. So we have this obj named object and we will call this show by the object because it is now non-static. This is example of global class. Why it is global class? Because it is outside main and main can access the function show. This class is outside main and this is known as global class. It means normal classes that we are defining outside main are known as global classes. How this show will be called, let's see. Undefined. Yes, we have to either kept both the O's capital or both the O small. Fine. So this main will first make a call to clear screen. Object will be created. Using this object, this show will be called and we will get the output like static member function call. I have to change the message as well. Now it is not static member, it is simply a member function. So I will write member function call. So let's rerun this code and see what will be the output. The output will be member function call. This is the example of global class because we have created this class outside the main function. Now we will consider the use of local class. The example of we will consider the example having local class. So I am having another function with the name void display. Let's suppose this is a function void display. Inside this void display, we are having a class. Inside the body of this function, we are having a class, and this class is not now the global class. This class is now the local class. Why it is local class? Because this show, which is a part of class, can now be called inside the body of display only. So as we have started a display, we have to close display as well. So this is the body of display. Body void display starts here. It covers the class definition. Inside the class we are having another function, and then this display ends here. So in order to call this show, what we have to do, the statements that we have written in main, that is called bank object, and using this object we have made call to this show. We have to write these statement inside display. So I will remove these two statements from here, and I will put the statements here inside the display. See the movement. I have removed these two statements instructions from main, and I have kept them inside display. So I will simply make a call to display. I will not make a call to display using object. What is the reason? The reason is display किसी class का member नहीं है. क्योंकि display किसी class का member नहीं है, इसलिए display किसी object से भी call नहीं होगा. It will be called directly. तो जैसे clear screen किसी class का member नहीं है, clear screen directly call हो रहा है. getch किसी class का member नहीं है, getch directly call हो रहा है. In the same way we are making call to display. This display will be also called directly. So when we make a call to this display, inside this display we are having a class definition, and this class which is inside a function is local to the function. So that's why this class is known as local class. Inside this function we have created the object of class, and we have made a call to function. Let's see how this program will run. So firstly, we will go to start. We will start the program by main. The compiler will go to main. Clear screen will clear the previous output, and it will make a call to display. So the control will go to display function. Inside the display function, the class will be created, and class object will directly make a call to show. So we will go to show function, and from the show function we will get the message member function called, and when the function display will end, the control will come back to main function on getch, and using this getch will get the output member function called. So this show is the part of a class, and the class itself is a part of a function, or you can say class is defined inside a function, and such a class which is restricted to a function, which is defined and accessible inside a function only, is known as local class. So these were the important topics from my side for today's lecture. The remaining topics that we have not covered yet are from the second unit are constructor, destructor, friend function, friend classes, the difference between call by value, call by reference, call by pointer, and formatted, unformatted operation. These are the revision topics which I have not covered yet. I will cover them in the upcoming lectures. So today you have to revise about the features of object-oriented classes, defining the member function, defining the data members, inside class, outside class, local class, global class, scope, resolution operator, its use, static data member, and static member function. If in case you people are having any doubt related to these topics, just drop your queries and doubt inside the WhatsApp group. And yes, this lecture is there on my channel. You can just visualize it anytime as per your requirement. So the remaining topic we will cover in the upcoming lecture, that is tomorrow. So prepare hard these topics which we have covered today, and doubts are invited inside the WhatsApp group. All the very best. Thank you so much for being there in the space.